Hello and welcome to the series Launch Your Listing Like a Pro, where we go over tips to help you launch your listing flawlessly. My name is Gwen. I'm the owner and founder of Happier Days Transaction Coordination. I used to be an agent and I found my lane in transaction coordinating, and I'm here to share everything that I learned along my journey with you and things that I wish that I knew whenever I was a new agent many years ago. The tip that we're going to go over today is opening title before you hit the market. It's actually a really big step that a lot of agents don't do, and it's something that I wasn't taught until way later in my sales process, because I actually came upon a really big issue with a sale one time, and it delayed things on title, delayed closing for a year. So it's no small step, and it can save you and your sellers and the potential buyer is a huge headache. So what opening title looks like is emailing your preferred escrow agent and asking them to open title on the property. You'll include the seller's information and you'll include any special circumstances that may be going on in the property, such as a divorce, the death of an owner, things like that. You'll go ahead and let them know, and then you'll also give them the address to the property. Title company will go ahead and start a preliminary title search on the property, and they'll be able to find crucial information for you to have a successful listing. So some of the information that they'll be able to find is who holds title and how it's vested. That's really critical information, because if you go to a listing appointment and you don't know who's on title, you could be listing a property that somebody else actually has the rights to, which is obviously going to cause a huge issue. If there's a death of an owner and there's no will, they're going to have to do an heirship affidavit, which can cause serious delays just depending upon how many people they have to go through on the heirship affidavit and sort out who has rights to the property. If there's a divorce, if there's a bankruptcy, a foreclosure, if there's somebody that's going to be doing power of attorney. All of those things you'll want to let the title company know, or the title company will be able to tell you what documentation that you need to provide to them. And it's good to get all of that taken care of before you hit the market so that there's no delays. The title company doesn't come back and say, hey, we need this document that the sellers don't have. I've seen it happen plenty of times, and it's just something that can be prevented. So you'll also be able to see any liens or delinquencies. Believe it or not, there can actually be liens on a property that a seller is unaware of, or are wrongful liens. I'll give you an example. So some people may not know what liens are on their property or who has filed a lien. You would think that one would know this, but there are times where I've seen a seller who is unaware of a lien on a property who then said, you know what, if I have to give all of my proceeds to this lien, it is not the best deal for me to go ahead and sell right now. I need to take care of that, and then I can sell at a later date. That's really important, because if you're under contract and someone's expecting X amount of dollars and they don't know that there is this lien, regardless of if it's their responsibility to take care of it or not, they're unknowingly committing to taking care of that. And it may be in their best interest to go ahead and get that taken care of before hitting the market, so that they have access to their proceeds and can determine when the best time is for them. And then the wrongful lien. So there is a time that I actually listed a property for a gentleman, and we were on the market for about a month. We went under contract, and then once the escrow agent started running the title report, they found a multi-six-figure IRS lien on the property that he had no idea about. And the reason why he had no idea about it is because it was actually paid years prior, but there was a technical issue, and for some reason the IRS did not remove the lien from his property, although he had proof that he paid it. There's no way that they could issue a clean title commitment for that, so they had to get it cleared. And what that looked like for him is he had to hire an attorney, because if not, he would have to give every dollar of his proceeds over to that. And even though he could get it back in the future, there was no known timeline for that, so he had to get his lawyer involved. The buyers ended up backing out because it went on for months and months, and then we went ahead and just took the property off the market after that happened. And then he worked with his lawyer for over a year to get the IRS to go ahead and release that lien, since it was wrongfully on his property. They had proof that he had already paid it and stuff, but still, I never knew about that. He never knew about that. And if I would have pulled title before we even went on the market, we would have been able to take care of that, instead of involving, the buyers that ended up going under contract thinking that was going to be their home and spending money on an inspection report and stuff like that. So big whoopsies. Once you do get the title report back from the title company, it's best to loop your seller in and just ask them, hey, do you recognize the liens on this title report? They'll say yes, they'll say no, and then you can go from there, addressing anything that may be wrong or that they're unaware of. It also helps you give them a very accurate estimate of proceeds before you guys go under contract again. And then also you can see if they're delinquent on any taxes, if they have any delinquent HOA dues. You can see any notices that should go on the MLS as well. So if they're in a MUD or a PID or a special taxing district, typically the title company will be able to get access to those documents, those notices that you need to give to the buyer. You're also, sometimes the title company will be able to furnish the deed restrictions. Sometimes they'll be able to log in and see HOA information. They're going to be able to see what the HOA transfer fees are, and they'll also be able to tell you a turnaround time from the HOA, which is really helpful whenever you're negotiating a contract and you want to make sure that you have the proper amount of time on an HOA addendum for the seller to order that and not be rushed, because a lot of people like to wait until after the option period to place an order for HOA documents, just because those can be a little expensive, sometimes near $600. So it's best for people to wait until after the option period. But if you don't know what the turnaround time is, how are you going to know what number to put on the HOA addendum? It's really helpful information. So in all, these are the reasons why I think it's extremely important to pull the title report before you hit the market, to make sure that you're in the clear and there's no oopsies that come up once you're under contract. I hope that you guys enjoyed this tip, and if there are any other things that you'd like to learn about, just go ahead and drop it in the comments and I'll do my best to make a video on it.